Everybody, do not be alarmed. It's 4 o'clock. I know y'all not used to us being on at 4 o'clock, but sometimes when you got special people that's near and dear to you, they fam, then it's Doug High too. We gonna get into all this stuff
Yeah,
in a
yeah, yeah.
minute, but everybody taking time out before he get ready for the Sun Belt tournament, man. I got y'all see him, man. Jonas, hey, Jay, what up, baby?
What's going on, baby? I don't know how special I am, but I am special. I feel
You
special.
special.
I finally got on your show, man. That's big, man. That
Ah.
means a great deal. We are family, man. And I couldn't have found myself more giddy to be right where I am right now, man.
Let's start with that, man. Let's just start with the journey, man, because basketball guy, Atlanta, you went to the prestigious Frederick Douglass High
Yep,
School. You
yep,
matriculated on off 316
yep,
to
yep.
Georgia State, to UGA. Let's just talk about the basketball journey. We're going to get to coaching in a minute, but just talk about your basketball journey.
Well, so my basketball journey, was really started when my brother and I were probably 5, 6 years old. And as we worked on our craft, we went to Collier Heights Elementary School. Yeah, we were Lion. We went to Usher Middle School. Yeah, we went to Doug and Jarvis and I. Our senior year was kind of interesting. We played for Coach Bonner. Coach Dollar had already left.
Right.
Played for Coach Bonner. And a lot of people, I was the one, my brother was top 20, top 30 in the country, top 5 or 10 in the state. Of course, he and I was the same size. I was 6'6", 200-pound front court guy. Jarvis was 6'6", 200-pound wing. And,
Right.
at that point in time, he was a doggone, he was Bigfoot. You couldn't find nobody with that size and
Right.
had that much skill. So everybody look around for Bigfoot. Nobody can't find Bigfoot. Well, my brother was Bigfoot. He was that unicorn. And so a lot of people, be honest with you, they didn't think I was going to develop it to become the player that I end up being. So Jarvis had a lot of Northeast schools. He had Villanova, he had Georgetown, he had all those schools recruiting the absolute mess out of them. And I had some mid majors, but the high major, I had one high major that was recruiting me, giving me any kind of energy was Clemson. But Jarvis and I, we had already made the decision we wanted to go to school together. Well, when folk found that out, they started dropping off like flies. They started dropping off that thing like flies. And you know what? It was only 3 schools left that was recruiting us. And that was Jacksonville State when Mark Turgeon was over there.
Mm-hmm.
It was Mercer with Mark Schlonica, who I'm still very, very connected to right now. And it was Western Carolina with Phil Hopkins and Chad Dollar, another fellow Douglas.
Shout out to old Chad Dollar.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize when we were growing up, my brothers and sisters was at Doug. My sister Katasa, she started at Doug in 1988. All right, and so my dad was running the clock since 1988. And my brother came down and all. Marcus, he was on that, and the 94 team, and Raheem was all up there. But we spent most of our time, to be honest with you, with people that was 7, 8, 9, 10 years older than us. Right. And so we got to know Chad. I wanted so bad at the time to play for Coach Dollar, but he wasn't the coach then. Well, so we end up choosing Western Carolina on the strength that Coach Hopkins was a great coach. We thought he was a great coach. God rest his soul. He just passed within the last year. But we went up there because of Chad Dollar and the relationship that our family had with his. I think he graduated in 1990.
Yeah.
And so my sister, she went from a sub-freshman to a freshman. She was a sophomore. So she was a sophomore. So we spent all our time with Coach Bell. I remember Coach Bell. I remember Tiffany Lipscomb. I remember all
loaded squad.
Yeah, on the women's side.
Your sister was a dog quietly.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
Dog at the point. But yeah, keep going.
But so we end up going to Western Carolina. And we spent an unbelievable amount of time up there. Jarvis and I experienced in Colorway. You would think you put 2 black boys from the inner city of Atlanta, like APS. Now, a lot of people don't understand. We ain't from Lawrenceville. We not from Lawrenceville. We are from Atlanta, like old Atlanta, like true Atlanta. You take 2 boys that's from a concrete city. At that time, Atlanta didn't feel big, but it was home to us, right?
It was bigger than Western Carolina.
way bigger than Western Carolina. When we went up there, you stick us in the middle of a mountain, you think we're gonna be pulling our hairs out. Well, no, Maceo, we had a good time up there. The people up there love basketball,
Right.
and so we was kind of like, okay, we're going there, we're going to experience something new. And you know what? They just came off I think a 6-win season or a 7-win season. Our freshman year, we won 14 games. Jarvis led the league in scoring. I led the conference in field goal percentage, averaged 8 points. Jarvis averaged 17 points. Before freshman, me, I was I was a natural freshman. Jarvis was a damn giant. All right. What he did, he led the league in scoring as a freshman. Well, so what happened? Our coaches got let go. And at that time, we liked it so much. A lot of people don't know this. We liked it so much, Maceo, that when they hired the new coach, we actually told him that we were staying. No, we did. I never will forget this. I never will forget it. We told them on Friday because we wasn't getting the interest. Georgia Tech had just gotten Paul Hewitt, and he didn't really know the lay of the land. He knew the lay of the land, but he wasn't. They had one scholarship. Well, Georgia, my dad had called up there, and I'm not going to say the assistant coach now, but he said, no, we don't have a spot for you. He said, we don't have a spot for you. Okay, so you know what? If we were going to leave Western Carolina, we would want to go back to the state of Georgia. Preferably want to go back home. And University of Georgia always held a big piece of our heart because when they went to the Sweet 16 in 1996, that's when they captured my imagination. So, we told Coach, we coming back. We coming back. I don't care what, we coming back, bro. So Coach Sharina was his name. He just got hired from Vanderbilt. And he said, you know what? we're not going to post this anywhere. We're not going to tell the media. You guys just over the weekend, you get yourself together. We'll see you on Monday. Well, at that time, Jim Herrick got in touch with my dad again and said, you know what, Mr. Hayes, I got a scholarship for both of them. And make sure when I tell you, we was down in Athens Saturday morning. He was walking us around. Coach Harris was a big-time coach, walking us around. And so, you know what? This is where we're going. It was a done deal when my dad finally got in touch with Coach Harris. And all she wrote. And for me, I've always had that mindset. You know what? I don't want you to give me a doggone thing.
Right.
I've always had, I will prove it to you. You don't have to give me nothing. I'll show you much better than I can tell you. And so when I tell you this, that's a part of who I am, man. And as it relates to the situation we have now, yeah, I'm building a program. But all the people right now that are saying, you know what, all Hayes, he ain't going to do it. Right, he ain't going to do it. I'll be able to show you much better than I can tell you. That's who I am.
So let's talk about that coaching bug, because you talked about how your brother was always, okay, he was kind of regarded as this, and this. But you were always like that grinder, just a hard worker. Like, you know what? That's all right. But every time we watched you play, you was doing, I always like to say, that dirty work, the stuff that ain't going to end up in the stat sheet. But yeah, but you going to feel me being on the floor.
I'm gonna tell you this. I can remember. God rest his soul. I'm gonna show you a picture of my dad. Hold on one second. I just want to bring him in this conversation.
Hey man, and you know, cause your pops and my pops were like
they were thinking Steve.
They were thinking Steve. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this. A conversation I had with this fella, right? Can you see it?
Yeah, sir. I see it, boy. You know, I see my dude.
That right there. Oh hell, I don't know if you can see it, but anyways,
I saw. Yeah.
A conversation he had. And because he kind of knew my brother was getting a lot of attention, and he gave me a story about the City of Atlanta trash men, and he didn't know any trash men, but it's just a job that they do. He said, you know what? Everybody got a job to do, and even if nobody notice what you're doing, that job is as important as any job that any man could have. And then he gave me the story and just say, listen, do you think you would notice if the trash man wouldn't come pick up your trash for a week, 2 weeks straight? Man, yeah. That's how important it is. So for me, it's how non-glorious or non-glorifying as a rebound or setting a great screen or making a great pass on time, on target, understanding scouting report. If you don't think that's important, have somebody that don't do it. You'll
Mm,
see how important that is. And so
mm.
I took hold to that. And so I tried to get every rebound that I could. I tried to set every doggone screen that I could legally. You know what? And so I took pride in that. And so and a lot of people, even Kawhi done started saying now, Boardman gets paid. I didn't get paid to play, but I'm getting paid to coach it.
Right.
But this is the little things. And Coach Fox used to say this at Georgia all the time, and I took from him. When you understand the importance of the little things, that's when you'll understand there ain't no such thing as a little thing. Everything matters.
Oh, that's tweetable. Oh, I got to tweet
Yeah,
that later on.
yeah, man.
That's tweetable.
Yeah, that's straight out of Coach Fox. I take little bits and nuggets from everybody I've coached with.
And it's crazy because that brings us to you getting into coaching. So let's talk about that path before you got this great job here. Talk about your coaching journey.
I tell you what, I got the coaching bug my sophomore year at Georgia. And actually, the coach who was the head coach at Douglas at the time was Coach Elgin Andrews, and so he was our varsity assistant coach when I played at Doug. Graduated in '99. Got to give a shout out to '99. So he used to let me coach the teams during the summers, and so that's when they had the summer league over at the old Run and Shoot off of
sir.
Well, it was Stewart Avenue, Metropolitan.
Real Atlanta, run and shoot everybody. Atlanta.
Yeah.
We can do a whole other show on that some other time. But keep going.
Yeah. So I got the absolute bug to coach like you won't believe. And what I really enjoyed, you see the game from a different perspective. I knew how I internalized the game. I could play the game, but I had to learn how to coach it and teach it. Because planning it and playing it and knowing how to coach it and teach it, that's two totally different things. But the thing I really, really enjoyed, and I was a sophomore in college, I wasn't too much older than the guys I was coaching.
Right.
And how much their attention and how much more confident they got in themselves once they see themselves in a successful light. They see, if I'm telling them to do something and they go execute it and they find some success, you have no idea what that does to someone's confidence. And I looked at it at that point in time and damn, I can have a huge impact on people's lives through the game of basketball. And I grew up in the church, and a lot of people thought I was going to end up being a preacher, but I wasn't going to be no preacher. I am.
Right. I mean, that's your pulpit. That's your pulpit.
This is my ministry. And so I got the bug then. And so I knew when I graduated from college that I wanted to have an opportunity to go into coaching. Well, let me fast forward to my senior year. Coach Harrick had left Georgia, and Dennis Felton came in, and I was trying to decide what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to go into coaching or whether I want to just keep playing. I'm going to tell you this, man. Everybody and their mother and their next door neighbor's cat was telling me that I needed to go play while my body was still young. I was still in my youth, hadn't even hit my prime yet. Make as much money as I can.
Right.
But I knew in my spirit that I wanted to coach. And I was really struggling with the situation. At the time, Jarvis had been drafted. He was with the Washington Wizards for a year doing it. He made the rookie game. And, I had a couple of workouts with NBA teams. I had, offers to go overseas, pretty substantial and lucrative offers to go overseas. But you know where we from. We didn't grow up with a lot of money. So you don't miss nothing you never had.
You never had it, right.
You leaving all that money on the table, man. I just know how to survive. I know how to put one foot in front of the other and keep it moving. We never had a whole lot. Now, we never went without, but we never had a whole lot. We didn't grow up in a household with excess.
Right.
And so I knew it wasn't in my spirit to keep playing, not because I didn't love the game. I was led down this path to try to coach, and I was really struggling with it. Maceo, and I can remember having a conversation with my family. Mom and dad was there, brothers and sisters and all that. And I was just sitting around, and I can remember I can't remember if I was crying or not, but I was very emotional because I'm a pleaser at heart. I want to please. I like to make people happy. I like to make people smile and all that. So I had a big portion of me saying, I just need to do this so I can make a lot of people happy. But a larger piece of me was saying, Jonas, you need to go into coaching. So my dad said it was just the calmest voice. I can hear his voice.
Man, your dad was so cool, man. Oh, my God, that man was so cool.
Listen to me, man. I can hear his voice. Now, on all the thing he said was that, Jonas, I want you to put yourself 10 years down the road. And I want you to make a decision right now that you think you'll be able to live with 10 years later. And
sound like your dad.
that sounds just like him, man, don't it?
Sound like your dad.
And so I did that. I tried as best I could to take and make a decision, and it was in 2004. I was 22 years old, going on 23. I was young. I was wet behind my ears. I didn't know my tail from a hole in the ground. But my dad had just sat me down calmly and said, listen, put yourself 10 years down the line. You 32, 33 years old. You know, make a decision now that you think you'll be able to live with when you're 33 years old. And I took inventory, and we can get to the point how I got to that point. Because I worked at Douglas, I worked at AAU, at Morehouse, South Carolina State, D2 school at Belmont Abbey. And I took inventory in 2014. And 10 years from that fateful day that I had to make that decision, I was back at the University of Georgia, making as much money as my heart could ever take in. And so I look back at it and say, God is faithful, man. You just got to have a faith the size of a mustard seed. He already got it. If you ever want to figure out if God got a sense of humor, try making your own plans.
But tell him tell the world what you can ready to do. He's going to be like,
yeah, man. Yeah, man. And so that's kind of sort of how it happened. And listen, I had some lean years in there. I went to Douglas High School making very minimal money. You know that you get paid at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And
that one-time stipend. That one-time
stipend. That's exactly what it is. You know what I'm talking about? You talking to me now, baby. I went from
it ain't much. And it ain't much,
man. It maybe pay for gas. And luckily, I live walking distance from the school, so I didn't, have to pay a lot of gas. But I went from Douglas to Morehouse. Grady Brewer, God rest his soul, another Douglas alum, right? And he hired me. This is how God put people in your place, put people in your midst, put people in places for your good. I had no business being on his staff. I was just 1 year out of college, 1 year coaching at my high school, and he wants to and they had won 20-something games years in a row.
They put you on a college staff.
He put me on a college staff.
Yeah.
He had no reason to. Right? And I can remember I made mistakes. I made more mistakes than you can count on both hands and doggone feet and all your eyelashes, all the strain of hairs in your head. But he stuck with me. Right. And again, monetarily, wasn't making a lot of money. All right. Wasn't making a lot of money. I left there. All right. Went to South Carolina State. And I don't want to go into details of why I left, but I was only there because I didn't want to do some things that was required, I thought, at the time. So I got out of coaching for a year, for a summer, really, because I wasn't, it was just some things that went on there that I didn't agree with. And I coached AAU basketball. My brother putting people in place. He started AAU program and I coached the team. Well, I went up to Belmont Abbey. I spent 5 years at Belmont Abbey. At this point in time, I got to Belmont Abbey in 2007. I left in 2012. So I'm 31, 32 years old. Mind you, I was supposed to put inventory after my dad said, okay, I was 33 to 33. I was 31, 32 years old.
You're coming up on that 10.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I got not depressed, but I got real down. I wasn't making a lot of money. I didn't have health insurance at the time. I was young, so I didn't ever get sick, but I didn't have health insurance.
Right.
First 3 years I was at Belmont Abbey, I had a roommate. I just rented a room in a house. I was making so little money. All right. My last 2 years, I just had to get my own spot. I was renting a duplex. It was probably about 400 square feet. Renting a duplex was taking almost half of my money. Right, just to keep it up. I was making I was loving what I was doing, right, from a basketball standpoint. Right. Personally, I didn't want to making a lot of money.
But you gotta live.
You gotta live.
I
could remember, and my daddy gave me his old blue, I think it was like a 2002 Jaguar, one of them old body Jaguars. I had no business driving it, but they gave it to me. I can remember, Maceo, and I don't want to get emotional, I can remember keeping my gas full, that I made a decision, well, I got to eat, so I can't pay my light bill. So I can remember in the winter, it gets cold in Charlotte now. I have slept in the car outside of my duplex. I wasn't making a lot of money.
Cut the heat on.
Yeah, I couldn't afford to keep my heat on. So I was getting to that point after 4 or 5 years at Belmont Abbey. And look how God works, man. I said, man, I'm just getting tired of my Evergreen. Because I remember the conversation I was having with my dad. And he was still alive at the time. He didn't die until 2016. I'll get to that in a minute. And I got real down. I was feeling real sad because my career wasn't unfolding how I wanted to unfold. Not understanding
on your time,
on
your
my
plan,
time.
according to your plan.
My time is not like God's time, right? So I was getting real bad, and I can remember I was getting real upset, not upset, but sad, and it's just, man, did I make the right decision? And so I got real bad, and I just heard, and I legitimately remember this day. I was in my duplex just crying, and I heard, and I went to sleep. But you know how those dreams are just so real.
Yeah, man.
And I can remember God telling me, Jonas, you're praying for the wrong thing.
Daddy, all the time.
Listen to me. He, instead of praying for more money, a bigger job, more notoriety, because I felt like all the work I was doing at Belmont Abbey, it's like a tree falling in the forest. Who's gonna see it, right? Instead of praying, God said, instead of praying for more, all right, pray to be better, all right? And so I stopped praying for that big job. I stopped praying for more money. And I had a reconfiguration of my mind. And I said, you know what? If I'm going to be a Division II basketball coach, I'm going to be the best damn Division II basketball coach there is in the country. And this, let me tell you something. This is in February. This is the end of my 5th year. And so I started reimagining myself. You know what? If I'm gonna be here, just like my dad said, a trash man. If you're gonna have to be a trash man, be the best trash man there is.
Be the best.
So I started reconfiguring my mind. I said, you know what? Instead of me going to all these places and rubbing elbows and networking, I'm gonna focus on being the best Division II basketball coach I could possibly be.
Right here. Mm-hmm.
You remember Mark Slonica?
Yep.
Mark Slonica, who was the coach at Mercer. He was one of the 3 coaches that was recruiting my brother out coming out of high school. He was at Georgia. So when we played at Georgia, he and I got really, really tight. So he had gotten out of coaching and he was starting to work in Georgia's foundation. And that's the alumni association and all that.
Right. They call them collectives now.
Yeah, they call them collectives now. So I get a call from Mark Slonica. And he simply says, hey, Jonas, the Georgia Bulldog Club is coming to Charlotte, downtown Marriott. Why don't you come and you can rub elbows with a lot of Georgia alumni, a lot of Georgia people that remember you were playing, and it'll be a good opportunity. You maybe get some support for Belmont Abbey. You know what I told that man? I said, you know what, Mark? Because in my own mind, I had started to reposition myself to be in the best Division II. I said, you know what? I can't go. I had at the time it already scheduled because we schedule our days out that I had to be in Salisbury, North Carolina at like 6:30, and I had to end up being in Columbia late on that night to see 2 kids. And so I said, no, I'm not gonna be able to make it, Coach. He said, okay, I'm gonna put your name down anyway if you decide to come. So a week before the event, I never will forget. This was in May. It was on a Wednesday. Well, the Wednesday prior to, he said, Jones, I just want to call and check to see if you coming. I said, Coach, I'm not going to be able to come. At that time, Mason, let me remind you, I'm focused on being the best Division II.
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in. That's exactly right. I was locked in. So the day of the event comes. And I ain't thinking about it. It's supposed to start at 6 o'clock. And I'm supposed to be in Columbia, South Carolina at 6 o'clock. So if you're familiar with Charlotte and South Carolina,
I lived in both places. In both places.
Columbia is probably an hour away from Charlotte. I live a little west from Charlotte in Gastonia, Gaston County in Pelmont.
The gas house. You was below Charlotte.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I was over there. So I've already got on the highway. I'm getting off the exit. All right. It's the event I'm supposed to go to see the kid work out. Was started at 6 o'clock. I was getting off the exit 10 minutes till. And the gym I was at, you could see it off the ramp. It was right there. And I was getting off the expressway. And sometimes I ride with the music off because I like to just be in my thoughts.
Yeah. Be clear minded.
I started crying, and I pulled over on the side of the road. And I know you guys gonna think I'm crazy, but I legitimately heard the Lord's voice said, "You need to go."
You ain't crazy.
I legitimately heard it. You need to go. And I said, Lord, you told me a month and a half or 2 months ago that I need to quit praying for more and just pray to be better. And now you telling me not to go work, not to do my job as a Division II coach. You want me to go now, turn around and go to this event. I was obedient. I was crying. So I called my head coach. I said, Coach, I don't know. Something is telling me, God is telling me I need to go to this event. Mind you, I'm going to be late. So I turned back around. I get to my house about 7:15. And I'm thinking, why am I still going? This thing is going to be over with. So I go home and change clothes. I had athletic gear. I go home and change clothes, put on some slacks and a nice shirt. I get to the spot, and it's from Belmont to downtown Charlotte. It's probably about 30 minutes.
Hold on, we got to say uptown. We can't say downtown.
Charlotte. Yeah, uptown.
Charlotte. I want people to beat me up.
Yep, that's right. You're right about that. So I get there. I get to the Marriott at like 7:45, 7:45. And I'm like, God almighty, this thing, it started at 6.
It's over.
It's over with. So I get up there. You got to go up some escalators and all. And I get to the table. Damn, people still checking in. I said, is the event still going on? Oh, yes, sir. The bus that was bringing the coaches, whoever's going to talk, they got caught in traffic. So they actually just got here, and it just started 10 minutes ago. And I said, okay.
Divine intervention.
Something is going on. And so I get on up there. They give me a name tag, Jonas Hayes, but it had me working for the Charlotte Bobcats at the time. I said, okay, we're good. They didn't have Belmont Abbey on there. They got me working for the Charlotte Bobcats. They think I work for an NBA team. I'm
right.
taking. So I'm looking for Mark Slonica. I go up there, and the lady who I was asking, Mark Slonica is not even there. And I said, dang, he wants me to come, but he's not even there. But he knew something that I didn't know. So I walk in, and it's this big ballroom. And the two people that was there was Mark Richt, the football coach, was coming to talk. But it was also Mark Fox, who I'd only seen one time in my life in Orlando. I didn't really have a connection with him.
Right.
I'm like, holy mess. Now, I didn't know Mark Fox was going to be up here. That's the head basketball coach of my program.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna say hello to him. So I went up there and spoke to him. I went in there, I dapped up Mark Richt. And I'm like, man, I thought I was just going to be here and just be a fly on the wall. All right, well, good. I talked to some people, got some cards, got some information, got some people that wanted to all go. I know the story long, but I got to tell it.
No, we telling it.
And so the social hour, it got over with. And there's this big ballroom, probably about 250 people that can fit in there. So they had the stage up front. Then they had 2 sections of seats, about 15 rows divided by an aisle. Well, I thought I was going to sit in the absolute last row of this last seat of the last row.
In the back.
In the very back. Just a fly on the wall. Let me hear what these folk got to say. Somebody tap on my shoulder, Maceo. Hey, man, you Jonas Hayes. We want you to come sit up front. I looked up. I said, I ain't going to have to speak, Emma. No. We just going to want you to sit up front. I said, okay. All right. I'll go up front. So I get walked all the way around. And this is God, man. I'm telling you, you would not believe who I was sitting hip to hip with. It's the first. I was in the third seat. You got seat 1, seat 2, seat 3. Seat 1 was Mark Richt. Seat 2 was Mark Fox, the basketball coach, and seat 3 was Jonas Hayes. And I wasn't even supposed to be there. So I'm sitting over here. Listen to me. I'm sitting over here. I'm foaming at the mouth. My doggone palms are sweating, and my palms don't sweat.
Here go my shot.
But I froze up. I didn't say nothing to him. I said, holy hell, I don't know what to say to this man. I mean, I felt like he was sitting to my right, and I was just like this, and he hit my back. I was scared as hell, right? And so Coach Rick got up there and spoke, sat back down. Coach Fox, he got up there and spoke. He sat back down, and I'm still like, I'm foaming at the mouth. I'm like, oh, man, Lord, I got to say something. I didn't know what to say. And and Chuck Dowdle, who was the Channel 2.
Channel 2.
Yeah, so he was MCing.
Because he was doing the Georgia show at the time.
That's exactly
He
right.
was doing the Georgia show at the time.
So he was doing the MCing. And so he said, thanks you for coming out, go Dogs, and they getting ready to leave. So we all stood up. I still hadn't said nothing to him, Maceo. I still hadn't said nothing to him. And I was getting ready to walk out. And something just turned me around. And I told Coach Fox this: if there's anything you can do, if there's anything I can do to help you out in the state of Georgia, just let me know. And we were shaking hands. And it felt like I was shaking his hand for 2 whole straight hours. He looked me right in my eyes and did one of them. Really? You know, I got an operations job that's open. I want you to apply for it. Okay. And when I tell you, Maceo, that was on a Wednesday, man. That was on a Wednesday. And I applied for the job. I talked to him on Friday. I was on campus on Monday. Within a week, I got hired. And only thing I heard God tell me, Jonas, I've already ordered your steps. All you got to do is have just enough faith to keep on stepping.
Just believe.
When I tell you, I am a living testimony of where you can be. All right. A lot of people, and I heard, I think it was Shannon Sharp say this. A lot of people just see what they think your glory is.
Oh, yeah.
But they have no idea what your story really is.
Never. They never do.
When I tell you, man, I see Charisma. What's up, Charisma? Mustard seed. That's right. When I tell you, all it takes is just enough faith to keep one foot in front of the other. And 2 years later, it was time for me to take inventory of what my dad had told me when I was 22, going on 23 years old. And if you and Tamala Man sings this song, Step Aside, God wants to do it for you, man.
Yeah.
He wants to do it for you.
You got to allow him to do it.
You just got to step aside and just let him do it. And that's what I've done. And so here I am, baby.
Yeah. And it's so crazy, Jonas, because in saying all of that, you're now the head coach of a program that's in the heart of the city, heart of your city.
Oh, yeah.
Unlimited resources.
Yep.
I don't think people understand how plentiful it is at Georgia State, and it just continues to build. So just talk about your new facility right quick, because
that is right there. You see
that's what I'm saying. If you guys have not gone to see this new gym down here at Georgia State, y'all lost y'all mind. Just talk about being home, being in that spot right now, Jonah. Just talk about that for us.
Man, it is still hard for me to find the words to describe how truly blessed I am. I told you a minute ago that if you'd have told me 10 years ago that I can script my career and script it best case scenario, never in a million years I would have told you that I would be the head basketball coach at Georgia State. You would think, the stars wouldn't align that perfectly to put me here.
Nobody would believe it. Hollywood wouldn't even believe it. They'd be like,
would not believe it. And that's why I keep telling you, all right, if you ever want to figure out if God got a sense of humor, just try making and writing your own plans.
That's it.
And so for me to be here, to not only be here in this moment in time, but everybody know what the old sports arena was like at Georgia State. Never in a million years would somebody, that grew up in our time think Georgia State would ever have a new arena. Not only do they have a new arena, God timed it up so much so that new arena will open just in time for my first season.
Coincided with you.
You can't make it up, Maceo.
A true Atlanta boy.
You cannot make it up. It ain't no way possible for you to make this up. And so to be under an administrative structure like Dr. Blake and Charlie Cobb, and the support they've given me, the love they've given me, is not anything that I don't want. I'm going to build this program how I know it's going to work, because my faith hadn't failed me yet. Right?
At
And
all.
it may not happen when a lot of people want to, but I'm telling you, you got to partner out progress because this is a program that is truly under construction. We will be that team again. And but knowing that support that I have that's behind me, but also the city, when you talk about the businesses that I'm trying to get roped into our program and the connections that we have, this has got a chance to be much bigger than basketball. I don't look at this job. A lot of people look at jobs 2 or 3, 4, 5.
Right.
I can be here 25 years, and I plan on living till I'm 110 years old,
It
and I'm
is.
gonna work till I'm 90.
It is,
And
boy.
I
Come
can.
on now.
This is where I want to be, and you cannot. Again, I struggle to find the words, but then to that, I get a chance to work with my twin brother, not just a brother, my twin brother. You
That,
know, and
and that
it's
that
cool
got
stuff.
that got to be a crazy thing because you guys have basically done all of your education together.
Yeah.
And now you guys are working together and you guys are working toward a common cause and a common goal in your city, dog. In your city.
Maceo, man, I'm telling you,
In your city.
every time you say that, I got to pinch myself because it just can't be true. It can't be true. But you know what? I be doggone. It is. That's our reality. And
Yeah.
again, I shout it from the doggone mountaintops every single time I get a chance. If you just have enough, I don't care how dim and bleak your situation is. I don't. Let me tell you this, and how faith would have it. I get the Georgia job in 2013. My dad died in 2016. He died of dementia. I can't believe I left this out. This is about dealing with adversity and overcoming it all. My dad was, and my mom and dad, everybody in my family was influential. But I used to pray with my dad that he just lived long enough for me to become a head, so he could see me
Right.
become a head coach. And I used to, every time I see him, I say, Lord, just let my daddy live long enough to see me become a head coach. Well, he didn't live long enough. He died on April 4th, 2016. Be 8 years next month.
Mhm.
8 years. That's mind-boggling to me. But it's been 8 years, April the 4th, and 2016. I was at Xavier at the time when I got the job, and you would not believe I got interviewed for the job. I did a Zoom interview the end of March after our season at Xavier. Or it may have been April 1st or something, April 1st or 2nd. Well, I interviewed for the job in person on April the 4th. I get a call from my athletic director, Charlie Cobb, April 4th, 2022. You can't tell me God ain't real. Almost to the moment my dad took his last breath, we was around his bed, that I was getting this job. And I took that as full confirmation. And when I was praying to God and talking to my dad, I want you to live long enough to see me become a head coach. While he didn't make it in the flesh, right? That was full confirmation for me.
Right.
You know what? He's not here in the flesh, but he's certainly every step of the way, he's there with you. And so I take that. That's my confirmation.
And it's crazy that you bring that up because it goes back to what you were talking about in the beginning, how he gave you the plan
Yeah.
and gave you the vision like, hey, scratch that. Look at it from this perspective. But
Yes.
again, that's how our dads were. And I say this all the time. Guys like us who feel fortunate enough to like have our dads
Yeah, man.
as influential as they are in our lives, a lot of times if we take that misstep or if we kind of get off track a little bit, it's the lessons, it's those little things that they say just always just pop up in your mind and it gets you
Just made me think
right
of
back
something.
on track.
You just made me think of something. I see your Doug Astro shirt.
Oh
I
yeah.
I got me a pen. You see that pen?
Yeah, I see it now. That's all.
I got my pen right there, baby.
Come on, man. Come on, man. We true to it.
We true to it, baby.
We true to it. Let me ask you this, because I know you got to get ready for the Sun Belt, y'all. Because y'all hadn't traveled yet, have you?
No, we leave tomorrow.
We leave tomorrow. Just talk about the impact of the season, the building blocks that you guys are putting together. You keep talking about we're under construction. Talk about that part of it and getting these guys to understand
Yeah.
what you guys are doing at Georgia State.
So what we're doing, we're gonna be process oriented. We're gonna be a process driven program, and that's what I learned at home. You know, you don't worry about the end result. Now I do know that we are in a results driven environment. Everybody wants wins and losses, but I'm gonna remain steadfast in my belief that we got to take care of the process of becoming a winner. Right? What type of person you are? Are you aligned with making great decisions, and can you make that your habit? And the process of the daily, and I tell people all the time, a diamond, you didn't dig up a diamond just overnight and it was already a diamond. That diamond had to go through pressure and adversity to become that diamond. And that process, you only see the diamond's glory, then the shine, but you don't see that adversity. You don't see that diamond story.
Yeah.
And so really, to me, I am not a destination, but a journey. You know, it's not the destination, it's the journey. So I keep reminding these guys, and we've been an up and down. It's been a very, very inconsistent. This is my year 2, but it's been very, very inconsistent. But I keep reminding our guys, who are you? Who are you on a daily basis? Because let me tell you what adversity will do. Adversity will reveal a man to himself.
What?
All right. And so Martin Luther King say this: measure a man not in times of ease and comfort. Measure him who he is in times of adversity and where he stands. And so that's what we're about. And I believe our guys at the end of the season, we're playing much better basketball now than we did in November, and that's the goal. But as we keep stepping forward, we're going to get guys that I align with in that fact. And understanding going to college, I'm talking to all you high school kids out there, men and women, don't go into college expecting it to be, don't go to college expecting it to be cookies and cream and peaches and all that. It's not easy.
No, sir. No, well,
expecting adversity. And so I think it was one of my callings is to equip these young men that God called me to coach and helping them acquire the skill to overcome adversity. You know what? That's going to be key. And yeah, we're getting there, man. We're taking one step at a time, but we're certainly going to get there.
Let me ask you this. In your years of coaching, and it seems like every other year or every 2 to 3 years, it's just like the cycle changes. What have you noticed from the time you started coaching to today? What is like the biggest difference?
Well, outside of the NCAA making it, legal to these kids getting money, which I agree with, and that's something that I think the NCAA is working through. And how do you control that?
Right.
But I notice a difference. Kids are not as apt to allow you to coach them. And I think they've sometimes in their own little circle, they've not always been told the truth. So when somebody tells them the truth, it's a problem. And what I tell people all the time in coaching, if you're trying to be better, being sensitive to coaching and getting better, they can't reside in the same space. Because a part of you getting better is being able to take some criticism. Allow somebody to hold you accountable, because a lot of these people, they think they got it so bad in college. Wait till you get to the real world. And if you have not found and acquired the skill to overcome adversity, it's going to be hard to get it. Coach Fox said, if you never, ever, if you find it in your heart, in your spirit to quit the very first time, the next time something get hard, it's going to be easier for you to quit.
Boy, it's gonna rain on your parade.
Yeah, man. And so that's what the difference is. The kids are not, and some parents don't allow you to coach the kid. They take coaching as you picking on them. It's not you picking on them. You actually really love them, so you just not allow them to operate in some space that won't be successful in real life. Man, and so that's what we got to continue to. And I'm not going to back down. I'm always going to love and respect the people I coach. I'm going to love on them like they're my little brothers.
Right.
But they have got to allow me to coach them.
Yeah, it's crazy. My dad used to always tell me, hey, it's when the coach stopped talking to you.
Big time problem.
That's when you need to worry. As long as he's talking to you, he feel like he can get something out of you. Mm-hmm. Now, once you walk in that building or you walk on the field and he just let you walk on by,
you got a problem.
Now you got a problem.
That's a big time problem.
Now you got a problem.
Yeah.
talk to me about the academic piece, because I think a lot of kids now, and it's always good to hear a coach say this,
Mhm.
because they kind of just see it like all I gotta do is go hoop, all I gotta do is go ball. That classroom, talk about that classroom piece, and when you go out to recruit these kids and talk to them about that.
So I'm a little different. And I tell parents when I'm talking to them, I got a size 15 shoe. And I will not be afraid to put it up your son's backside for academics. This has got to be this got to be a two-way street. You're not going to come to Georgia State, help us win a whole bunch of ball games, and you're not getting nothing out the deal. I've essentially used you if that happens. And I've had to suspend kids on some academics. They looking at me like I got 70 eyes, but I told you if you don't take academics seriously, because at the end of the day, I got this on my desk. It's a ball, but it has no air in it. All right. Because at some point in time, the air is going to come out of the ball for the best of them. And even if you are one of the select minute few to get a chance to play professionally, even for you, young fella, that ball is going to get flat. Then what are you going to do with your life? And if I don't do my best, I tell you what, when I die, I'm going to be judged on not what I've done or not done. I'm going to do everything that I can to show God's light through me, but pull people up to a point where they can also receive their own level of success. I'm not using these kids because a lot of them look like me. I wouldn't dare use them. All right, you're going to get something out of the deal. Or you know what? If you are hell-bent on going over the edge, I can't go over the edge with you. But if you're hell-bent on going over the edge, Coach Harry told me you can't save everybody. You got some kids that are dead set on going over the edge. You got to let them go. But you're going to go over that thing knowing that I've tried my best to get you to see it.
Last one for me, Coach, before we get out of here. I just want you to kind of, we kind of touched on, but we're just going to hit this one more time. Being at home, creating a monster that's going to be the Georgia State basketball program. You talked about pitching yourself every now and then, but with, again, all of the resources that are in place, what is like just your dream scenario as you continue to build this program?
My dream scenario is long-term for us to be in a situation where we can play in the NCAA Final Four with a chance to legitimately win a national championship. I know that sounds like pie in the sky, but all great accomplishments makes you start with a thought. And so as a man thinketh, so shall he become. All right, I believe in a life as a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's what I think. That's what I believe. And I'm going to make for damn sure all of my actions will be aligned up with making that dream, that thought come true. So if you have a thought, but your actions don't align up with that, faith without works is dead. All right. But
super dead.
If you have a belief that you believe in, a thought that you believe in, and your actions align up, if they pointing in the direction in which your thoughts give you, you know what? You're going to get there.
Coach, I'm going to tell you why it's not pie in the sky. And you know this. You done played it your whole life. You're watching it unfold every year. We are now in the era, because once upon a time it used to be one seed to never be the 16th seed.
Yeah, they've done it twice.
2 seed to never be the 15th seed. Continue to happen. We're kind of looking at basketball now. We're like quietly, really, James Madison could be the best team in the country.
Absolutely.
We keep seeing all of, they like to say mid-major. I don't like to use that term because I think everybody's major now because the way it is
the transfer portal and that even things out.
So when you say that, Jonas, and because I know you and I know who raised you, bruh, it's not pie in the sky, dog. It's not pie in the sky, dog.
We got a lot of room on our wagon. All right, we got a lot of room. I'm telling you, man, this train is moving, and it's still at the station right now. It's still at the station, but this thing is gonna move.
Hey, man, my dude, I'm proud of you. Always been proud of you, man. continue doing what you're doing. Like I say, me and Emmanuel, we're down all the time. I told Ed next year, however y'all need to use us, we're there. Everybody, we're going to get that arena, and it's already jumping. We're gonna get that arena jumping every night.
Let's do that.
Because there's no reason it shouldn't jump. It's in the heart of the city.
Let's do it, baby. You know I'm on for that. I'm here. I'm with it. I want to let's see if we can collaborate some this spring and summer too.
We gonna do
let's
it.
Do that.
Like I told Ed, y'all got me. And like I say, they already got you down there. Boom, y'all got Dale down there. Yeah. I told Glaze, me and Glaze finna fight for Georgia State coverage now.
Cool,
I'll be like, and no, man. No, man. You go over there this week. I'm going. Everybody, that's my brother right there, man. The great Jonas. Hey, brother.
Much love to you, baby.
We're gonna come down soon. I'll tell Ed, I'll bring the cameraman. We're gonna do something inside the arena.
Yeah,
we're gonna set the chairs up. We're just gonna sit at we're gonna let people marvel at this thing. Dude, I'm gonna be like your media relations guy.
Let's do it.
Hey man, good luck in the tournament, man. Y'all know what to do, man. Make it do what it do, dog. Again.
All right, boy. Much love.
I got you, baby. Jonas. Hey, appreciate you, brother.
Holla.
We gone, y'all.
All right, boy.
Crush, Jack, yeah, black on.